everyone. Is it okay if I don't use the microphone? Is that okay? I'm very loud, so I don't want to deafen you with the microphone as well as my voice. So thank you, Professor, for your introduction. So today we're looking at lesson planning, which is kind of the bane of every teacher's existence. Does anyone like lesson planning? No, it takes time, it takes work, and half of the time, it doesn't even work. Your students have their own brains, and your lesson plan gets thrown out the window. But it is really important to lesson plan. So today we're going to talk about why we lesson plan. We're going to talk about what you can do to always make a strong lesson plan, and then we're going to do some activities about that, because I love activities. Those are my favorite. So before we get started, how is everyone today? Good. Are you enjoying your day? Excellent. Are you excited to learn? Some may be more than others. I see some. So we're just going to get started with a quick brainstorming activity. A simple question with a hard answer. Why? Why are we lesson planning? What do you think?
Set for goals.
To set your goals. I like it. What else?
To seem prepared.
To seem prepared. I like that seem word. To make it look like you're prepared. Yep. That's a good one. Why else?
Time management.
Time management. Yeah, that's a good reason. Any others?
Understand effectively.
To understand effectively, like what you're doing and what you will do and what you have done? All the above? Maybe? Okay. It's a good answer. Any others? I'll tell you my answers. Why lesson plan? Well, so that you can pull your lessons out of the book and into your students' lives. This is so critical. A lot of ESL teachers, EFL teachers, were given a book, and we stick to that book, and we do the pages, and that's it. But how much are we really impacting our students' English knowledge if we're just in the book? So with lesson planning, we can really pull that information out of the book and make it relevant to our students and make them connect with the information a little bit better. So that was my first answer. My second answer, to build your confidence, to seem prepared, to fake it until you make it. At least you can feel like you have a plan if you build your lesson plan. So you've shown the forethought, you've thought about what you want to do beforehand, and then at least you have a structure, a safety net to fall back on if nothing else. So to build your confidence, of course, to give you an idea, to give you a plan, and finally, to prep for and reflect on success. We touched on this as well earlier. So you're making your lesson plan to prepare for the class, to prepare for your ideas. But also, your lesson plans are a great way to reflect on what you've done before and to help ensure that your next lesson plans are suited to your students a little bit better, or they're more interactive, right? So we use our lesson plans not only to plan for what's later, but to think about what's already worked. What do your students really pick up on? What's really been effective in your class? So those were my 3 reasons. But of course, there are many other reasons. This isn't everything we're going to do. So let's get into the brunt of it. What does that look like? It's all this fantasy world. Oh, I'm going to prepare and I'm going to have a great class and it's going to be beautiful. Maybe not. But what does it look like on paper? So let's get into What is a good lesson plan? What makes up a good lesson plan? Every good lesson plan has 5 parts. That's it. You can add more if need be. You can take out some if need be, but let's stick with the 5 for now. You've got your warm-up, which we just did. So congratulations, you're done with part 1 of today's lesson. You've got your lecture, which we are about to do. So congratulations, we have a lot of talking. Then we're gonna have the guided practice section, a free practice session, and then a review. So these are the 5 basic elements to every lesson plan that you should be making. A warm-up, a lecture, a guided practice, a free practice, and a review. Now we're gonna get really into depth for what these are, so don't stress too much. We're gonna talk about it. So what are those? A warm-up. Well, we just did it. So what's a warm-up? What do you think?
Something that prepares you for the lesson.
Perfect. It prepares you. Cool. What else does it do?
Breaking the ice.
Yeah. I was thinking that exact metaphor. Thank you, Ayn. Yeah, it's an icebreaker. It's an icebreaker. Anything else? My definition of a warm-up, I say a short interactive activity that introduces the lesson. So it should be short. It should include your audience. And it should tell your audience what they're going to learn. So our warm-up was a simple question. Why lesson plan? And it got you thinking, all right, yeah, why? It seems silly. It's not silly. It seems silly. So a short interactive activity to get everyone thinking, talking, interacting, engaging with the material. Why do we do a warm-up? It's short, it's interactive. Why do we do it? You can cheat and look at the answers too. Like, I was going to make these animated and come in later, but that's okay. Why do we do it? Well, engagement, interaction. When you came in here today, you sat down, you opened your laptop, you thought, all right, I'm here to learn. And then we did a warm-up and you're like, yeah, I'm here to learn. Is that not true? It's okay. So why do we do a warm-up? To grab students' attention, to get them thinking, to get them engaged. And then here at the bottom, how long should it take though? Usually warm-ups are 5 minutes or less. I say about 10% of the class time should be a warm-up, just a short activity. You could even do 5 to 10% of class time. It really doesn't need to take a long time. It's just that icebreaker, right? So that's the warm-up, pretty simple. Questions about the warm-up? Nope, I see no, I see no, I see no. Okay, we're good. So the second part of any lesson plan is the lecture. And that's what we're doing now. Really talking and trying to get you to talk back at me because it hurts my voice. But we have the lecture. And this is where you introduce the material in completion. So this is a detailed content breakdown. You're giving your students everything they need to know to go into the practice section. So this is the lecture. Why do we do it? Why lecture? Lectures are boring. You just listen to someone talk and talk and talk, and you zone out, and you come back in. Why do we lecture?
I think a good lecture can remind students what they already know about the target lessons or objectives.
Yeah, so lectures can help you draw on students' schemata, their previous knowledge, get them thinking about what they already know and get them thinking about what they will know. Good. What else? Why lecture?
Well, you need input to produce output.
Great answer. That's really succinct. I like that. I'm stealing that. You need input to get output. You have to learn something to use something. I like that. Any other reasons why lecture? Okay, so what I say for why is to introduce the target skill, relate it to students' experience, draw on their learner schemata, and encourage them to think critically about the lesson. So you're getting students thinking about what they know, what they will know. Exactly. How long should it take? Quite a bit more than the icebreaker. A bit more than the icebreaker, certainly. 30%, that's a great answer. Yeah, about 30% of your total class time. So this is where you're introducing that content. You want to give your students, your audience, as much content as they need to do the practice. So really about 30% the lecture. Okay, does anyone remember what's next? Guided practice. Fantastic. Guided practice. So we learned the skill, we got the input. Now we're going to have guided practice time. What is that? Yeah, it's very literal. It's literally guided practice. Let's do it together. Exactly. It's an activity to get students to apply the skill with teacher support. So teacher, student working together to apply the skill. So you've given them the input. They know what they're going to do. Now you're going to practice together. You're going to give an example together and show them how to do it, okay? So why? Same questions. I know it's very repetitive.
To scaffolding the student.
To scaffold, perfect. Oh, that's a great word too. I'm writing that on the board. Scaffolding. So scaffolding, if you don't know this term, it's that step ladder for success. It's a scaffold. It's one step, one step, one step. So scaffolding means to give students knowledge that they can learn step by step by step. Scaffolding is that learner ladder. So exactly, to give them scaffolded knowledge. Any others?
Reduce their anxiety level.
Reduce anxiety, that's great. Give them confidence in their knowledge. Excellent. Yeah? To demonstrate it, to help students achieve the goal successfully. Really. So you've lectured it, you've given them the input. Now you're going to give them an example of how they're going to use it. And because you're helping them, they won't fail. You're doing it together. You're showing them, look, I gave you some information. Now let's use it together and let's all finish it together so that you know how to use this information. All right, so it's guided practice. You're working on it together. How long should it take? About 25%. These are not hard numbers. These are a little bit fluid. So warm up 5 to 10, lecture 20 to 30, guided practice 15 to 30, free practice, blah, blah, blah. They're not hard numbers, but they are a good idea to kind of help you think, oh, okay, well, this activity will take 2 minutes. So just general numbers. Okay, what's next? Free practice. Great, the free practice time. We had guided practice. Now we have free practice. What does it mean? I'm very patient. I can wait a long time.
When students have a chance to use the target language all by themselves, they can actually face which part they're strong and which part they need to work on more. And also, as an observer, teacher can get it and help the students that this weak part of the next lesson.
Yeah, awesome. Try it on their own so that students understand what they know and what they don't know. Good. Others.
They can create their target language with their own words.
I'm putting that on the board too. Target language. So self-expression in the target language. That's a good additive. They can take this information and use their own words to use the target language and really use their own ideas. Great. Another.
It helps students feel self-confidence. Wow, I can do it. They will very proud of themselves.
Yeah, self-confidence, building self-confidence. They did it with you as the teacher, together, guided, but now they'll see they can do it on their own. They don't need your help. They don't need you anymore. They're all grown up. Others. Why free practice? This is what I think is the most important part of any lesson.
That's the goal for learning language.
It's the goal. They can do it on their own. They don't need you anymore. That's what we all want. All students just to be able to do everything by themselves. Yeah. So I want to sit on this for a little bit longer. I want to brainstorm a little bit more. Why else is free practice important?
To simulate real environment.
Great. Simulate a real environment. Practice.
It prepares them for the real world.
Perfect. Preparation for the real world. I'm still going to sit on this. Keep thinking. There's a lot of good reasons for this.
If the learners are able to use the target language to express themselves successfully during this free practice, I think through this activities they can get instinct motivation towards learning the language.
That is a great idea as well, that motivation. How many of you have students that hate English? Every day when teaching students, I hate this class, I hate English. All right, I get it. I can't really help you, but I get it. So free practice is a great way to help students connect with that target language. We were saying earlier, connect, to use it as they would, and to find their own motivation. Because even if your students were made to come to your class, mom said, you're learning English. Even if your students were forced to come to your class, every student is going to find motivation at some time. So that motivation is really crucial. I'm going to keep it open. Any other ideas?
To improve their knowledge.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, to improve their knowledge, to recycle what they've learned, to help them gain their abilities to converse. All great answers.
Chance to internalize what they learn.
Ooh, I like that word too. Internalize. To internalize that knowledge, to really connect with that information.
It can trigger questions from students.
All right, trigger questions, that's a good one. They associate with it more, they start thinking about it, they start asking. We don't have to spend too much more time on this. But it's interesting even then. The previous slides, I kind of opened it up for a few minutes and cut it. But when we had a lot of time, we kept thinking about it and kept stewing on it and kept stewing on it and kept internalizing information and kept triggering questions and asking ourselves more questions. So it really gives a lot of brain space to your students. It lets your students open up their mind a little bit and think, what else? What else? Yeah, but like what else? And it forces them to think and think and think, and it's giving them that space to think within themselves. So free practice is really important. Why do we do it? We answered this one a little bit already. We do it to help students find their motivation, to internalize knowledge, to reach the target language, to help them practice the skills that they've already learned. Any other whys?
I think we did it to check whether they are ready for the next lesson.
Ooh, reflection, checking their knowledge, seeing are they really ready for that next lesson. That's a good one. Yeah. Any others? Yes.
Let the student think and do out of the box, like out of the classroom, because the class is not a real place. I mean, they have to do something out of the class, what they learn in the classroom.
Yeah, excellent. To really pull that information out of the book, out of the classroom, into the real world, into their life, into their own situation. Great. These are great answers. Another?
I think also it's let the students know that the goal of learning English is not just getting good score, actually for the authentic communication. So through this practice they can have experience. So as they grow up, they can build up their own experience from this free practice.
Excellent. Focusing on authentic communication, authentic information, authentic conversations. And authenticity is really crucial for connecting with that language, connecting with that target language. If you're just saying, hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Are you connecting with that? Are you really fine? No, not usually. Hello, how are you? Ugh, I'm really stressed today. Thank you for asking. More authentic. So exactly, it pulls those phrases out of the classroom and into the real world, into authenticity. Good. Yes?
Yeah, free practice gives the student a retention longer. Lecture they just heard in the class.
Perfect. You have all probably heard of this phrase, use it or lose it. And all of us, we're all second language learners. So we've all studied language. We studied really hard. We got A's on our tests. We could recycle and repeat. But how much of it do you remember? How much of it can you use every day? Well, you guys are doing great because you're here with me. But for me, I learned Spanish for 8 years. I traveled South America. Can I speak Spanish? No. My Spanish is terrible. So use it or lose it. It gives them opportunities to practice and practice and practice and use it. Great. One more before I go on.
Maybe we guide them, it's like a self-directed learning to go on. And the final, we go into the unconscious, the door knocking on the door.
I'm going to add some to that. I'm going to do tacit to explicit. Or sorry, explicit to tacit. What am I doing? Do I even speak English? Oh my God. Thank you. Unconscious. So when we first learn language, we learn this explicit expression of language. We learn words, right? We don't really connect with those words. We just are saying the words that we know. We're saying words and word patterns. We're memorizing and we're repeating. We're memorizing and repeating. But the more we practice on our own, the more authentic communication we have, the more use we get, the more that language knowledge becomes tacit. It's just in our brain. It's just there. It's ready for us so that we can pull it up at any time. So it helps move all knowledge from your conscious to your unconscious, from explicit knowledge to tacit knowledge, just an understanding of the language. Great.
Like automatization. Right?
Like automation, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so how long should it take? I forgot my slide. How long should it take? Yeah, 25% or longer or shorter or longer. 25%. I really am just using these numbers because it adds up to 100% for my total. But again, it's a little bit fluid. Maybe your classroom is really good at interaction. They're really good at connecting with each other. And you can up this to 40% of your class. 50% of your class is suddenly free practice. And that's fantastic. That would be incredible. So how long should it take? A good amount of time. Okay, on to the final section for this lecture, the fifth part of any good lesson plan. I didn't even ask you beforehand, what is it? But what is it? Review. Review, of course. Why do we review? Why do we review? Oh, sorry, let's start with what. Let me go in order of my question number one, what is it? So what is a review? A recheck. Ooh, good. Nice synonym. A recheck. Another. A lecture. Kind of. To make sure. Ah, sorry. That was. Supplementary. Okay. Any additional thoughts, ideas? Good.
Students and also teachers can reflect today's lessons, and also they can do self-evaluations of their learning behavior, many things, and by talking that lessons, they can attach their feeling towards the lessons, and I'm sure they will, they can get more energy or motivation that, oh, I can do a better job next time. And teachers also can see the next lesson, how should it plan.
Wow, that's a lot of great answers in one. So we talked about students reflecting on what they just learned. We talked about students asking questions about the material, really connecting with the material. We talked about the teacher reflecting on the lesson that was just taught, and then the teacher being able to take that information and apply it to their next lesson. So there's a lot of good elements there. So really, yeah, it's a time for everyone to reflect on what just happened. For students to ask questions, for teachers to ask extending questions or review questions. It's a time, I don't want to answer these. Your ideas, not my ideas. What else do you think? What else is the review a good time for?
To wrap up.
Perfect, to wrap up. Here's an interesting question. Should you introduce new information in a review? Yeah. Not usually. We talked a little bit about supplementary information, like if you have another idea that maybe students will already have the schemata for, then you might be able to tie that knowledge in with something else, just a little supplementary. But yeah, don't really introduce new information, new things to learn in the review.
I think I read somewhere, our short-term memory is really, really short. So we start to forget in 10 minutes what we've learned. So like a 40-minute lecture, we already learned, we might forget. And then review once, and then they will stay longer in your long-term memory.
Excellent. Yeah, good. Reflect on it to keep it in your memory, to keep it in your long-term memory. Good, good. That's a good study. Can you send me that study? I'm curious. Okay, maybe we'll talk after class. So yeah, it's a great idea to review the material, to help your students reconnect with it, understand how much your students actually engaged with, how much they actually picked up, plan for your next lesson, and allow students the time to ask questions. That's a really important part of the review section, is it should still be interactive. It should still be encouraging your students to ask the questions, empowering your students to take control of what they know. So it's a good time for them to ask questions and engage. How long should it take? 10%. Yeah, 5 to 10% of your total class time. Again, 5 to 10%, not much more than that. Okay. Okay, so that concludes my lecture section, which means we are going to move into The guided practice section. All right. It's like there's a theme or something in this lesson plan about lesson planning. All right. Let's move into the guided practice section. So this is just an example scenario, right? I'm not sure what ages you guys teach. I'm not sure. Is everyone here teaching? Working on teaching? Teacher, teacher, teacher? Is anyone not a teacher? Okay, so we're all teachers. Great. So this is an imagined scenario. It's fake, of course. And what we're going to do now is walk through this scenario together. Now, because I am only one person, I've only created a lesson plan for me. So what I need you to do is help me out. Add to these activities, change these activities. Tell me what would maybe work in your own classroom, okay? So let's go through it together. The scenario, the imagined idea. So you're teaching a class of 8-year-olds. That's grade 3? Grade 3? Grade 1? Oh, they're babies. They're grade 1. So we're teaching first grade. And you...
Sorry, American age is grade 3.
Ah, American age, grade 3. Okay, that's where my brain is. Thank you. Yeah, good. Okay, so first grade Korean. You want to do a lesson on some action verbs. We've got walk, run, jump, skip, hop, and spin, right? So pretty simple lesson. Obviously, it's going to be interactive because they're action verbs. So let's see what we can do with this. Walk, run, jump, skip, hop, spin. Say that 5 times fast. Walk, run, jump, skip, hop, spin. Jump, spin. Little difficult. Okay, so let's get into it. We know our 5 parts. What could a warm-up be? Well, here's the warm-up I created. I said, have students sit down. Everybody sit down. That's my first grade teacher voice. And demonstrate each of the 6 target action verbs using motions. Ask them, what am I doing with each different action? And then record the action verbs they know on the board. So, what am I doing? Great! Running! What am I doing? Great! So, this is just a short, interactive, silly way to open a class. Because, of course, these are young students, so the sillier the teacher is, the easier it is. How many of you have felt kind of like an actor when teaching children? All the time, right? Like, hey kids, let's go play. Okay. Anyway, so the warm-up is just something short and quick and a little bit fun, a little interactive, and it sees that they already know. It tests your students' schemata. It sees what they already know. But I'd like you to critique this. Give me some feedback. What would you do differently?
For warm-up?
Yeah, for a warm-up. What would you do?
We usually use YouTube songs. The section it really works for them. They love to listen to the YouTube video. Also, you don't need to act.
Saves your dignity. That's a good one. So YouTube videos. There are a lot of YouTube videos. What, super simple songs? What's it, teach English? There's a lot of them. Other people make videos for you. Perfect, yeah. What else? What else would you do? Finger play. Ooh, interesting. Can you show me? Ah, that's cute. If you couldn't see in the back, she's using her finger and hand to demonstrate the movements. So great. And that's good because you can have students do it as well. So that's perfect, yeah.
I would prepare some visualized pictures that shows the movement. And also, I will ask students to show the movement together so they can guess.
Ah.
And then I'll present the word, sound, and the word as I record the word on the board. Yes, so they can have little space that they can think about, guess what word, what action it is, and how to call this action in English, and how to write it.
Okay, good. So like a quick call response action. Okay, good. What else? How else would you teach this? Imagine it's your class. Does anyone teach first grade? All right, we have some, okay, great. So what would you do?
I'll help them stand up with me and just act.
Oh, cool. Okay, so everyone do it together, kind of an...
Without saying anything and they're curious.
Ah, so you would introduce the skill, but not the target language.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I like that. Yeah. What else? As you can see, there are many ways to do this. Not just one. Any others? No? Okay, so something short, something fun, something simple. Great. Next, the lecture. So here's my example lecture for this class. I would probably write the 6 words on the board. I would sound them out, each one at a time, and then I would spell them out letter by letter, encouraging students to repeat after me. I'd probably also do the actions at this time, right? So I'd say, run, run. Run, R-U-N, run. Where you get it, you get it. Okay, so then spell out each word, sound out the word again. And then we would have the students, I would have the students try to read the word on their own, going back to the spelling. What is it? Run. Come on, guys. What is it? Run. Thank you. Thank you. So I would do something like this, something that really connects students with the letters, the sounds, the words, and the action. So breaking down those words into their parts and then rebuilding them into words, having students practice read, and have students practice the actions as well. Has anyone heard of the method of teaching called total physical response? Yes. Of course, you studied it, right? So TPR says actions, movements work as a mnemonic device, a memory device. But TPR goes a little crazy and just says like, run. No, that's not what we're doing. We're associating the correct actions with the correct words, so using that mnemonic device of actions. So, run. Cool. What would you do?
I use flashcards.
Ah, flashcards.
It's best. That kind of game style. So if you can read this, I'll give you. You got point. If not, it's mine.
Ooh.
Sometimes divide the team into 2 groups or small, so they have competition.
Nice. A little bribery, a little competition, some points. Do they get rewards?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Double candy.
Whoa, double candy. When is your class? Can I? No, I'm just kidding. So what else? What else can we do? So she uses flashcards, and she uses, students read the cards, they get the cards, they get the points, and then their teams compete for the most points.
A lot of different kind of games, Holly or Go Fish, Uno. They really like than just reading.
Definitely, definitely. What else can we do?
I will make some animal flashcards so we can match them, animals and the movement, the words. And I'm sure they can naturally produce a simple short sentence. And if they like it, we can make a zoo and we can explore a zoo and describe what animals are doing at the zoo by using the words.
Wow, so we're doing like a double level lesson here. Not only do we have the actions, but we have the actions associated with animals. All right, so I'm assuming they already know animals. They already know the zoo. So you're building on that schemata. Nice. What else? Maybe someone from this side. You guys are so quiet. I'll come back. What do we think? What else can we do? Again, there are 1,000 ways to lecture about
I
this.
can show them to picture from the magazine or newspaper. They can find the walk picture and walk, jump, and something.
Oh, interesting. Definitely walk, definitely run, definitely jump, maybe spin. I like it. You could maybe find all of these in a magazine. Others?
We can give them some different questions based on the situation. For example, you were late for school, so what should you do? Yeah, at this situation.
I like that. You're really putting it into something they already associate with. You're late to school. What should you do? Should you spin to school?
Ask the students about the questions, and then if they answer, we can use a flashcard, so we can give them if they answer correctly, or they can make their sentences.
Great, great. Making sentences. Can first graders make sentences very well? Are they? Yeah, up to the students, some students. Okay, so it's a good age to really build on that sentence level expression. Cool. Yes?
I'll write a sentence on a board and teach them the naming part of a sentence and then verb part of a sentence so they know what action verbs mean.
Ah.
Also, I will teach them the difference between hop and jump. You know, hop and jump are synonyms, but there's difference. I'll teach that too.
Yeah, there are those shades of meaning words. And shades of meaning can be a little bit difficult to really convey, especially to young students, those shades of meaning. It's like, well, hop and jump are pretty similar, but what's the difference? What's the different shade of meaning in that circumstance? So yeah, great.
And I would put together some easy level books, picture books, and let them grab one of the book and see if they can find any words from the book. And I'm sure that will help them to understand shade of meaning because they can see the pictures and the context from the books.
Oh, okay. I'm sure there's some good like Dr. Seuss books that deal with those action verbs. Yeah, good. I'm back, guys. How'd you do? Any ideas from this side? Do you all teach adults? Maybe.
If the space allows, we can demonstrate with a jump rope. You can bring a prop. And demonstrate in front of so that you can see the difference between jump, skip, and hop.
Ooh, that's good. Again, we're back to teacher is the center of attention. But I like that. Because you can get students involved in that as well and have them practice with the jump rope as well. And it's fun. Super fun. Great.
Also, to teach action example, it is a very good game. It's Simon Says game. They know Karosa. In Korean, they already know how to do it, and they use that game. They really like it. And then I have a small group, just for a few students, that I let them role playing as a teacher. Now you are a teacher, teach me and teach your friend. And they really like to mimic our teachers. So they love it.
That gets into my next sections. She's jumping ahead on me. Okay, so we're lecturing, we're giving them this information, we're teaching them to recognize the words, to use the words, to put them in sentences, to associate with them with the different actions. Can I ask a question? Do you want to take a break in the middle of this class or just go straight through? Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, which is
Free practice.
Guided practice.
guided practice. You're getting excited. You're getting ahead of us. So guided practice. What can we do for guided practice? So in my demonstration lecture, I just did kind of reading things out loud, seeing the words, knowing the words, associating the words with the actions. So just like she was saying, Simon Says, everybody knows Simon Says at this age. So what would I do for guided practice? Have students stand up, play the game Simon Says, point to and say one of the words on the board, and then have students say the action. So Simon says, run in place. Simon says, walk. As you play, gradually like stop pointing to the words and just say them out loud. So let's say you'd go through each of the 6 verbs, maybe try to trick them a couple times, and then stop pointing and just speak them out loud so that they have that memory association with the different actions. So this was my guided practice activity, was a teacher-led Simon Says game. Okay? Your turn. What have you got? What would you do? Yes?
We can make use of charade.
Mm-hmm.
As certain students come up front, and then we can just keep the other students in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Just jump or skip or like that, and then the other students get the answer. And if they don't get the answer, teacher will help.
Okay. Great. Great. That's good because you can make cards with the different 6 on them, have them choose the card, run. Okay. Great. Charades. Love charades. Another. What would you do? Yes.
Shadow reading.
Shadow reading. Okay. Can you explain that to me?
Reading is difficult for young kids.
Hmm.
So teacher reads shadowly,
Mm.
and the kids speaking loudly.
Ah.
After the teacher's shadow reading.
Oh, okay. So you're putting the words in sentences and you're reading the words out loud and you're having them practice say with you? Like mimic you? Yeah. Okay, great. Shadow reading. All right. What else?
Running race is really works too. So I think, yeah, one who has confidence in writing, she or he become a writer. Every other students, I already made out of the classroom, make a board, put some words. They should run and go read and let them team the writer. So they really like this kind of activity. They move and then should read and hold it and come back. And then sometimes they forget and going back. and yeah, those work. It really works for young children.
Okay, I like that. So you've got students in teams, and on each team you've got a writer, a reader, and a runner? Or just a writer and a reader?
And runner.
Okay, a writer and a runner, and they practice writing the word and then running the word to another team?
Confused.
Oh, no, that's not my fault.
I'm sorry. I prepare a board and put some flashcards and with the picture, run or walk something. Then a runner should run, go. The writer has a piece of paper has number on it, and then same numbers picture on the outside of the classroom. They run and they should tell the writer. The writer should write the words.
Oh, I see. Okay, that sounds like a really fun game. So you've got someone transmitting the information and another person writing the information. Okay, sounds fun. Sounds fun.
I would play like a basketball game.
Basketball game.
It does involve all these actions
Uh-huh.
like mentioned. So like maybe you can like play a little bit and pause and then like ask them what's it doing. Because I feel like they do all the basketball players. I'm not entirely sure because I don't play basketball and stuff. But then I think they do hop, run, jump. So like be able to identify what they're doing. What the players are doing.
But I think you're demonstrating another great skill, which is if you're not sure how to teach something, look it up. Go on to Google and go on to Teachers Pay Teachers, or there's all of these lesson planning sites that give you 100 different activities for how to teach the same skill. And often they're open and they're free because even the best teachers don't always have the creativity for a certain lesson. So you just go steal someone else's work. They posted it online for free. It's not stealing. But there are a lot of different ways to do this same skill. Any others before we move on to the free practice section? Any other ideas? Guided practice. So again, this is teacher, student working together to make sure that students feel confident with the new knowledge.
Matching game. Picture and the word.
Okay.
The student can match it standing here.
Okay, great. Matching games. Simple. Love it. Another. Someone from this side will give me something today. One of you. We'll see which one. I'm watching all of you. Okay, any last thoughts about guided practice before we go on?
I think it works for reading and writing. Kakao reading game with the PowerPoint hides some points or banana something with the different points, and then they let them pick a certain color, and they show their points, and then they read and write, and then some students has more points get double candy. Usually my student hates writing. They have more confidence in reading, but if I do this kind of game, everybody try to write now.
I wonder what kind of candy do you give? What word?
Candy is my chew, they love it.
My chew. That makes sense. Okay, so guided practice, students, teachers working together to apply the skills that they've learned, to apply what they've learned. Any others before I move on? No? Okay, let's move on. Free practice. So for this one, I'm having the students stand up again. They're young, they like moving. And this time I'm gonna have them play the game red light, green light. Do you know this game? Maybe? So red light, green light. So the students lead the game as you watch and help. So one student will stand at one end of the classroom, and the other students are at the other end of the classroom. So you have a lead student. And then the student at the head of the class is going to call a number, which they already know because they're in first grade, and an action. So they would say something like 2 jumps. And the rest of the class will jump 2 times, and then they'll say 3 spins, right? Or they will say 2 run. So run, 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 stop, right? So then the students perform the commands, and then whoever reaches the student at the head of the class first takes over, so they can play on their own. So the idea with free practice is that the teacher really isn't involved. You explain what they're gonna do, and then you step back and you let them do whatever they need to do to apply that knowledge and really understand that knowledge. So this is probably what I would do because it's interactive and it gets students up and it's fun. What else could you do for free practice? So an activity students can do on their own to apply the skills with no teacher involvement. Oh yes, someone from this side. All right.
It's one I often use for this age group. It can also be used as a review too, but they can, I made up a worksheet for them as called a picture winner. And so they will have for example, like you have 6 words, so 6 boxes on a paper. They write the word on the line under the box, and then they have to draw the picture that matches to it. And it's something quite simple for them all to do. For the younger kids, if it takes too long to draw, you can always give them cutouts to apply to them.
Oh, that's nice. I like that too, because in case teacher has a headache, it's a very quiet game. Very calm game. This is a very chaotic game. Good. Okay, so something that they can do to apply the skill on their own. Another.
I think action work it can relate to finding directions. So like scavengers hunter game, it really works. When I work at school is kind of wider than a private institute. So make a certain place and then hide something there, and then give the direction to each team. Then let them go get it and get the candy.
They get double candy. Okay, good. So a scavenger hunt. Ah, okay, cool. Cool, scavenger hunts. What else?
I'm not sure if this is applied for this English class, but how about take some English ballet class and make their own small performance for using their body part? I think the body movements is more effective there when they moving their body. I think that is one of the examples.
I think that's excellent. Have students make like a short skit that shows the different actions. Yeah, excellent.
And I would record that their movement by video clip,
Mhm.
and I'll show the students, you know, and they can describe what their friends doing in the video clip, and they can use that verbs.
Excellent, full circle. So not only demonstrating the skill, but describing the skill.
Going off of that, you can play a memory game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Somebody can demonstrate it, and then like you have to memorize how many jumps we did, you know, how many spins.
Excellent.
The person who's able to say exactly gets a double candy.
Yeah.
I like that. This is a full circle lesson. Double candy. Always end with candy. Okay, great. So these are some good examples of free practice. Student-to-student interaction, students applying the skill on their own. Should be like teacher relax time. Teacher just hang out and watch. Okay, any last ones before I move on? Okay, let's move on to the review section. Okay, so at this point, I'm probably gonna have students sit back down. We've done a lot of moving around. My classroom is a mess. And then I'll have them read out each action word again. So we're returning to that lecture. I had them read the words and associate with the words and spell the words in the lecture. So now I'm gonna remember back to that lecture in my review. And I'm gonna have them read each word aloud. So what is it? Run. Who can run? I can run. Okay, let's go. And then I would kind of extend this and see what other action words they know. So we covered 6 in the class: run, walk, skip, jump, hop, spin. Right? Check my memory here. And then I would ask, well, what else can you do? And they might know something like, oh, I can clap, right? They might know some other verbs already, and you can talk about those and extend a little bit and have them associate those with your action verbs as well. So that's what I would do to record. I'd revisit the words, and then I'd see, what else do you know? What else do you already know? What would you do?
I'd repeat Simon Says.
Repeat Simon Says. That's a fun way to end. End on a really energetic note. Good. What would you do?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Oh, sorry. she was stretching. What else would we do? Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
What else could you do to review this lesson?
By doing a review, you can check the students pay enough attention to class or not.
So give them a little quiz,
Yeah.
pop quiz.
Yeah.
Do you give them double candy afterwards? Or pop quiz? Okay, that's good though. Pop quizzes. A lot of teachers use pop quizzes, especially in older students, just to review and check what they know and see if they learned anything. Yeah.
I think also teacher miming, what am I doing? They let them tell the word.
Okay. Have students tell you what it is?
Yeah. Like this.
Okay, so kind of a student-led review section.
Or all of the students do mime and students get correct answer.
Okay, so another review game where we're miming, we're practicing again. Others.
You can play hangman.
Hangman, that's a fun one. Yep, hangman is a good one. A good way to review spelling and pronunciation and vocabulary.
Spelling of the words, I'll give them a small piece of paper. They can write 2 jumps and 1 hop and blah blah like that. And we fold them and put them all in boxes. And then come up and pick up 1 piece of paper, and then the person who pick up the paper shows the motions, and they can count it and say exact numbers. It's kind of the activity that someone mentioned before, but I think at this point, they can do it perfectly automatically. They can write, they can say, and they can do it.
Yeah, okay, so now you're having, so we were playing charades earlier. Now we're having students make the charades cards and have students make the actions, and then they're playing the review game. Okay, great.
I think we can use different
to the door to get out of the classroom. Like I can get to the door with 3 spins, or I can get to the door with 4 jumps. And they can actually get out of it.
Oh, I like that. And are you having students like almost place a bet? Like, teacher, I can get to the door in 3 jumps.
Each class I give them mission and like a sentence if they remember. Each class I give them skills.
I like that, like a mission statement with the word, with the target vocabulary. Okay, great. Others?
I say this game, survival game, but actually it's a word game. I pick one word from today's lecture, for example, walk, and then divide it 2 teams. Say the word with the ending letters. Walk is K, is king, and the G, go, something like that. And then they should answer in 30 seconds or 5 seconds up to the student level of language. They really like it. Even you have 3 minutes, you can do this game. Every end of the lecture, I do this kind of game. They use the words they learned that day. It's a really good review game.
Okay, great. Sounds fun. Any other review games? Word scramble. Okay, good. Word scramble. Again, reviewing the words. Others? Okay, let's go on to the next section, which is free practice. It's like there's a pattern here or something. So this one, of course, you're going to do, I think what we're going to do is work with partners though, because then you're able to use someone's brain who maybe has experience with the target age group or has experience who's actually done this lesson before. So I want you to work with a partner so that you get someone to bounce ideas off of and someone to really help critique your ideas. So this time we're a little bit older. We're going to teach 13-year-olds. That's 5th grade, grade 5 in Korea, grade 5, 13. Okay. Middle school? Oh, is it? Oh, 7th grade? 6th grade? Okay, we get it. They're old. So they're about 13 years old, and you're teaching how to write a paragraph, right? So you're going to teach them how to write a paragraph. What are you going to do to teach these students how to write a paragraph? So we're going to do the same 5, and we're going to do each of the target sessions. And then after I give you some time to work on this with your partner, we're going to share a little bit because I want to see what you guys would do in this scenario. So if you're following along in your lecture notes, if you've got section 4, the pre-practice section, there should be plenty of space for you to write down ideas and work with your partner and make it happen. I'm going to give you, what do you think, 15 minutes? Is that enough time? If you finish early, let me know, because I'm going to come around and talk to you and watch you while we do this. Ha, 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 ha. So I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to work with a partner and create a 5-step lesson plan for this target scenario. Okay? Can we do it? Sounds good? Are you nervous? Do you hate me for making you talk to people? Okay, find a partner. Let's get going. I'm going to turn on the lights too. Thank you. Okay. All right, how did we do? Let's reconvene and talk about these. Dun, dun. Sorry. When I taught younger students, I'd always do like loud to soft. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We've got about 15 minutes left. I want to talk about your lessons, and then we'll have some Q&A time, and then that's it. Okay? Okay, so our scenario was a class of 13-year-olds. So we've got 5th graders, 6th graders, they're teenagers, they're hormonal, they're angsty, they're angry. And we want to teach them how to write a good paragraph. So already a daunting task. So some of you pointed out that this is a very ambiguous topic, right? It's very vague. It's not very clear. Of course, that's on purpose because I wanted to know what you as teachers would consider a good paragraph and how you would approach writing a good paragraph. So a lot of you looked at topics, a lot of you looked at structure, a lot of you looked at meaning and form meaning making. So we had a lot of really good examples. What I would like to do now is have you share some of these lesson plans. Let's go through the 5 steps in order and see if I can get maybe 1 or 2 examples for each section, something you think might work really well. Before I start, do any of you teach 13-year-olds? Yes, we have one. And then he looked shocked and scared. Okay, you teach 13-year-olds? Okay, also 13? Okay, great. So some of us have experience with this age group, so we might have some good ideas. So what did you do for the warm-up? Who thinks they have a pretty good warm-up? How are you going to introduce teaching a good paragraph? What do you think? Yes, yes.
Use a metaphor of a hamburger. So we use the picture of it. So what is a delicious hamburger? So we need a top bun and bottom bun. They look different, but they taste the same. And that's the approach you can explain the topic sentence and the concluding sentence. They mean the same thing, but they usually look different, using different words. And also we use the patties, the picture of the patties. We need patties, but only patties doesn't make a good delicious burger. You also need veggies and cheese things between patties. And that's how we apply to hamburger.
That's excellent. A hamburger metaphor. Excellent. So you've got the topic sentence, the top bun, the lettuce and cheese and meat in the center, the supporting players, and then the bottom bun.
Different types of burgers. Some burgers that don't have the top one. Some burgers are missing veggies, but they'll make good one because they like something. So at the end, we show a perfect burger with both buns and patties and veggies, everything in there, and we explain.
Okay, I like it. Start with the metaphor. It also might make your students hungry thinking about eating. Okay, so we start with a metaphor. What else? What else could we do to warm up our 13-year-old students to writing a paragraph? I hear some people like, oh, you do it. Yes.
One thing you missed in this lesson planning because it will depend on the students' like levels, size, class sizes, kind of things. But as you said, the approaches can be very different, like top-down or bottom-up approaches. Okay, but if we just suppose that they are doing well, I think we better do it with like minds taking out of their ideas at first, because they can write anything if they have any ideas. So I try to do it as a brainstorming or kind of things.
Okay, so can I ask a question, follow-up question? Are you brainstorming topics or are you brainstorming what they think a good paragraph is?
If the teacher has a topic in her mind, she can do something for the students, do something kind of eliciting their idea. Okay, but if it isn't, maybe the teacher should let the students to be motivated. Okay, writing, how to write, or what to write. Okay.
Okay, good. So a lot of brainstorming, a lot of that open student interaction. Maybe one more, and then we'll go on to the next section. Yes?
Esther and I already had experience of teaching this age.
Okay.
Figure out that if they don't interested in terms of speaking and writing, they don't really do it. So we said give students a list of the singers and have them vote on their favorite and come up with 2 favorite and divide a class in 2 groups so they can kind of have a debate session.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the warm-up, they're gonna say 1 or 2 sentences why they like it or why they support this singer.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, cool. So you're really drawing on students' opinions and students' perspectives there. I like that because it's really helping them relate to the material.
Yeah. So and I think if they couldn't speak about that, they can write it. They can write it, but it couldn't be a good writing.
Sure. Okay, good plan. Okay, so get them thinking about their opinions, get them brainstorming what they would do, get them hooked in with that metaphor of structure. Great. Lecture. What would you do for your lecture? So this is a big part. You're introducing the skill, and you can already probably tell that we're focusing on a few different skills here. It sounds like we're focusing on kind of a connected meaning-making paragraph. We're focusing on a well-structured paragraph. We're focusing on an interesting, intuitive paragraph. So we're already looking at a few different types of paragraphs here. How would you lecture for that?
So first of all, we should give some examples, and which can interest the students' attention. And so after deciding topic, we will give some examples like what you want to do is a given example. And what do you want to do? I want to do what, blah, blah, blah. And also, we will teach some kind of a structure, kind of because or although. So we can give a lot, we can give some chances to students to speak a lot of things, and both in Korean or in English is good because writing is about, not just writing, it's about imagining. And also, they have to use imagination. So after they use a lot of imagination, they can have a lot of topics.
Okay, great. So get them imagining, get them thinking about all the creative elements. Good. How else? How else would you lecture?
At the lecture part, the teacher should how to write a sentence, like capitalizing, like writing a period, question mark, basic things should be lectured by the teacher.
Sure, you might need to review a lot of basic things that they already know. Again, that's schemata. So things like always start your sentence with the capital letter, always use punctuation, always break up your clauses with commas. If they're at a skill level where they're writing a paragraph, then we're kind of assuming they have these basic skills. But it's a really good idea to review them, especially because capital letters and periods don't happen in Korean. You don't have capital letters. So of course they're going to forget how to capitalize something. So just those simple skills that they know already, but you might want to review them a little bit. That's a good way to start.
I think one of my co-teachers told me how to teach, how to write a good paragraph. She introduced me a four square writing.
Okay.
If I Google, you can see the paper in the middle. There, you put your title. In the full every corner, put one. This is sentences, and then details like 3 or 2 sentences support them. Then later combined into our paper. It's perfect for one paragraph.
Oh, okay, great. So you have your title, you have your introduction sentence, your 3 reasons, and then back to your introduction, because your conclusion and your introduction are usually the same, or at least a similar sentence. Okay, good. A 4 square method. That's good, because you're teaching a structure with a visual, and it's teaching them something that they can rely on. Good. Another lecture. One more.
You can show them to write examples. We want a bad one. Like to comment on like which one makes more effective, more persuasive.
Okay.
And then after sharing, then you can break it down for them. Like this is the supporting, that this is an example and whatnot.
Okay, so we're seeing a good example, a bad example, and then we're talking about why it's a bad example and why it's a good example and what is the structure of the paragraph. Good.
You gave me a hint. There is a short with firstly suggesting a short sentence, or you can develop into a longer sentences by putting a word or can say relations, something like that.
Okay, I like that. So you're kind of word associating to encourage your students to create longer sentences and more complex sentences. I like that because especially at 13 years old, students will do 5-word sentence, 5-word sentence, 4-word sentence, 5-word sentence. And you really have to encourage them to write more details and write more information. Cool.
You might want to emphasize how important it is to use real-life examples and how persuasive it makes.
Okay, good, good. So here we're also noticing that there's another element to a good paragraph. Is it persuasive? Is it informative? Is it explanatory? What kind of paragraph are we writing? I gave you guys a pretty big task on purpose. Okay, so we've got our lecture. What about our guided practice? Let's go through these. Oh no, let's go through this really quickly. One guided practice example, one free practice example, one review example. I'm not good at time management. Okay, guided practice. Who's got a good one?
So we're gonna do class into small groups with over 6 or 5 students, and that they're gonna write some text under the guidance of the students. As the students, the teachers have to go walk around and the students whether they are doing well, and also. Before writing, teachers have to CCQ question, and then they will do the things, and after that, she can examine what's wrong with the grammar and kind of things and structures. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Individualized student-teacher interaction. Free practice. What have you got? Student-student interaction. What do you think? I heard a few good ones. A few of you did something similar. Yes?
It's crucial for teachers to suggest the frame of the structure of paragraph. For example, which sentence is before the introduction, or which sentences are sort of for body, conclusion. Students should realize the frame of a paragraph associated with the subject they choose. I think so. So teachers suggest the total frame.
Sorry.
We've got another idea from Ken.
Okay.
Actually, we're going to have a role play and switching teacher and students. So in a group with the students, and one student will be a teacher, and he will give some keyword, and then according to the keyword, they're going to write.
Okay. Okay, great. So we've got that student-to-student interaction. Awesome. Okay, I don't want to go over time. A review activity. Anyone? Review activity?
Write their own paragraph and share it with the class.
Perfect. Share with the class. Great. All right. Okay. Does anyone have any questions before I say goodbye? Any questions?
Your email address.
Okay, my email address, if you want it. Ugh. kels.ulrich@gmail.com. Please email me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I check my email every day, so you should get back to me. Does anyone have any other questions about the material? No? No?
Thank you.
Going once? Thank you. Thank you, everyone.